All right, Sports Life fans, we here back to do the prediction video for the Ward Kovalev card. Um, the big mega fight that everybody's been waiting for. But let's start with some of the undercard fights. We got Curtis Stevens versus James Delarosa. Who you got for that fight?
Um, I remember Curtis Stevens from when he fought Triple G.
Yeah,
And I remember in that fight there was a couple times where he caught Triple G. Um, until like the sixth or seventh round, I think. I don't remember. And Triple G knocked him out.
yeah,
But um, Curtis Stevens, his best thing is combos and rushing you, or having his opponent stand in front of him.
yes.
Um, and I could see James De La Rosa doing that for Stevens. Even though De La Rosa, he's slick, and I think if he wins, he's gonna have to hurt Stevens, or he's just got to straight up control him. But I have Stevens winning this fight by maybe TKO in like the ninth round,
Okay,
because he'll stand in front of him.
okay. I kind of see it differently in a way. I see, Curtis Stevens is always an exciting fighter to watch. Like you talked about when he fought Triple G. That's what made that fight exciting going into it because, Curtis Stevens usually has power. He can knock people out
Yeah,
and everything. But like I agree with you, he's better when somebody is a target standing in front of him.
yeah,
Um, but in this fight, I like De La Rosa, and the reason why is because I agree with you. If De La Rosa just stands in front of him, then Curtis Stevens will have an easier fight.
yeah,
But I think De La Rosa has better movement and is a little bit of a more of a versatile fighter. And I think if he uses, he can actually fight southpaw and he can actually fight orthodox. And I think if he uses movement, he'll be able to hurt Stevens because he also has deceptive power. And I think it won't be a one punch type thing, but I think it'll be accumulation that'll help him win this fight. But I don't think he's gonna finish Stevens. I think it'll go to decision, and so I got De La Rosa winning by split decision. But watch for the movement and see if he uses movement to keep Stevens off of him, basically. Next fight we got Maurice Hooker versus Darles Perez. Now, Maurice Hooker to me is one of the most exciting up and coming fighters right now.
yeah.
And Perez is an experienced former champion
I knew I
that
recognized it.
yeah, that you can't sleep on.
Yeah,
Um, Hooker has really good power, but we'll have to be careful with the counter punching of Perez because Perez is a smart fighter as well
yeah,
because of his experience. And this is a step up for Hooker to me, but I think it'll be the next step in his career to move forward. And I think he'll be able to go the distance with Perez. A lot of times he knocks people out early. Hooker does, but I think Perez will be game enough to stay in there, and I see it going to another decision. But I think that it'll be a unanimous decision for Hooker. Who you got?
mm, I I have Perez winning. Like you said, he has the experience, but
Yeah,
then Hooker, he's he's fast, and he comes out fast, and he likes to like smother you and hit you with punches, and he's not that bad with like defending himself. Just sometimes whenever um he's like slugging it out, he'll leave his head open and someone will hit him.
I've noticed that too.
Um
That's
and
what concerns me about the counter punching when I said about
yeah,
Perez.
I think if Perez can notice that, and I think the speed of it, plus the reach, I think that'll be a big factor for Perez. I think he can get the win by decision.
So you got Perez by decision.
Yeah,
Okay. Isaac Chilemba versus Alexander Vazdik. Hope I didn't jack that name up, but Chilemba versus Vazdik. Who you got?
I got Vosdick winning. Um, I think the speed and the power of Vazdik will help him out big time. I think um, his combos that go with his speed are, oh my goodness. I was watching him earlier and I saw a couple of his fights. He was just hitting people with combos and they're
It's nice.
fast.
Yeah.
I like what I saw from him. But Chilemba, he fought Kovalov last, I think, right?
Yeah.
And he gave Kovalov some trouble. Because he didn't stand there right in front of him and like all the other fighters did.
Right.
He's actually a great defender. That's what I saw from his fights. He uses that shoulder roll a lot, and
Makes people miss.
yeah, and that could help him. But if Vazdik hits him with a couple punches and he hurts Chilemba, I think that can change the whole fight. I got Vazdik winning by decision.
Okay.
But it could go either way.
Yeah. I think another like I said, Hooker's one of the up and coming fighters that I'm excited about. Another one for me is also 11-0 Vazdik. I think he has a really decent jab, and he has a nice straight right hand that he shoots after the jab down the pipe, and
he knocks someone out.
Yeah, he can knock you out with that punch.
So much power.
Yeah, he does. But then you got Chilemba, who's a sneaky defensive fighter that can give his opponents a lot of trouble and make them look bad because he can make you miss.
Yeah.
He can make you miss in close range as well. And he did that a lot against Kovalev. And he uses some good movement. But sometimes he falls into lapses where he will stand right in front of you. And if he does that, I can see Vazdik taking advantage of it. But I see this fight going to a decision as well. Just because of Chilemba and his style of fighting, and I think he'll give Vazdik a lot of things to think about in there. But I think Vazdik will get a controversial decision win in this one. I think it'll be close enough where you'll have some people saying Chilemba won, and you'll have other people thinking Vazdik won. But I think Vazdik will get the nod, and it'll be a controversial decision. So we move on to the Ward Kovalev fight, the main event. And I'll let you go. Who you got? Ward Kovalev.
In my opinion, I think Kovalev is the better fighter, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think he'll give Ward some trouble. I really think that. But Ward is one of the best fighters right now. But Kovalev, I think he's just on another level. I think he's taken over boxing right now. Or at that division. I have Kovalev winning. I think that his combos and the speed of Kovalev will help him out. But he's gonna have to be careful against Ward, because if Ward controls him, that's gonna change the whole fight. Especially in the early rounds, I think that's gonna hurt Kovalev if he controls him. But I have Kovalev winning by decision.
You got Kovalev winning by decision?
Yeah.
Unanimous or split?
Split.
Split decision win for Kovalev. Alright, Ward Kovalev. I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I agree with everything you said about Kovalev. He's definitely one of the top fighters in the game of boxing, all around right now. And I like him. I like that he does come with power. His combinations he uses his jab to set up a lot of shots.
Yeah.
And when he lands those shots, he's gonna put you in trouble. And
he's gonna need Ward to stand in front of him, I think.
Yes.
Ward's gonna have to defend himself very, very well.
Yes, which I don't think he'll have any problem doing. If you watch the Chilemba fight with Kovalev, Chilemba was able to make Kovalev miss a lot of shots with just simple movement and head movement. and it gave Kovalev some trouble. But like I said in the previous fight for the Chilemba fight against Vosdick, Chilemba will give you chances where he will stand in front of you, and those are the ones that Kovalev definitely took advantage of. In fact, when he knocked Chilemba down in that fight in one of those rounds, Chilemba to me was winning that round and was really exposing him. And then out of nowhere, Kovalev looked like he was gassing, and all of a sudden he lands a good shot, and he jumped all over Chilemba and dropped him. But Andre Ward, to me, is a complete fighter. He's a skillful boxer, slick fighter, good defense, has a brilliant jab. And I think he'll use the jab early to keep Kovalev at bay and gain some respect. In fact, Chilemba was able to use a jab on Kovalev that was getting through a lot in that fight, which was surprising to me. But then Kovalev has a great jab as well. But I think Ward will start that fight off with the jab and making his jab control the fight, to get control of the fight. And once he does that, I think his movement and making Kovalev miss and counter punching and will wear down Kovalev. And I see Ward winning by TKO. Yes, I'm going to go out there on a limb.
Wow.
Ward is going to win this fight by TKO. I see a nice right hook to the body, right under the elbow, right above the hip, and a pivot to the right by Ward, and a left hook is going to stun Kovalev, and a straight right hand is going to finish it off to put him on his back. And after that, he'll get back up, but that's when Ward will finish him with a TKO. They'll stop the fight. But yeah, I'm calling the combination that he's gonna use in everything. I think it's gonna be a right hook to the body, which is not gonna be the first time he lands that punch in the fight. He will land some right. He'll go low to that body a few times in the fight, but I think he'll land that right to the body, pivot, and that left hook. Andre Ward's left hook is vicious. And I think if he lands that left hook, he'll stun him. And if he follows it up with a straight right hand, that's going to put him on his back. So I'm going with a TKO. Andre Ward, the guy has always showed up in big fights. Always. You know, he's always the Chad Dawsons. I mean, we can go back to the Super 6. He's always shown up in big fights. And I think he'll be ready for this fight. This is going to be a good fight, though, because Kovalev, I have nothing but respect for him. He's a monster. And if he hurts Ward in any time in this fight, Ward's going to be in trouble. Because Kovalev knows how to finish. He has no remorse in the ring.
I gained a lot of respect for him when he beat Hopkins, because before he beat Hopkins, I didn't think he was really that good, because he was, some of the fighters he fought, it was like, who are these people? It was kind of like how I feel about Triple G. I still don't respect Triple G. I can't even. I think, but after he beat Hopkins, I gained a lot of respect for him. The way he beat him, he knocked Hopkins down, I think, twice in that fight, right? I remember he did.
I know first round, and he definitely dropped him in the first round. I'm not sure if he did it again in that fight. He might have. It might have been twice.
Yeah, I think he knocked him down twice, and he controlled Hopkins. And Hopkins, he's another great defender.
Yeah.
That's the best thing he does.
The only thing in that fight, Hopkins didn't have any movement, and he stood right in front of Kovalev, and he made him miss a few, but you can't stand in front of Kovalev because he's got good accuracy on his punches as well. So
it seems like fighters fold after a couple rounds, like.
Yeah. He shocked Hopkins in that first round with that right hand and dropped him. And from that point on, Hopkins knew, like, this guy has power to put me down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same. But I'm going with Ward, and I can't wait to see these fights tonight. We need 2 TVs so we can watch both of them, but we'll be watching them. Sports fans, make sure you check these fights out. And when I say 2 TVs, I'm talking about the UFC Fight Night card plus to have this Ward fight. But I'm excited to see this Ward Kovalev fight.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think.